Ken here, the Unemployed Prop Guy. You're looking at a still from a film that I'm working on. This is the intro of the film, and I wanted to show you a technique that I've been working on to project shadows on a road projection screen. And let me show you how I did it. Okay. Let's see how I did this. And at the end, I'll show you the actual video, how it looked in camera with my actual nice shooting camera. So let me turn on the lights in my studio. And here it is, the wheel. So I have the slide projector there, which is casting light through the cuculorises. And then it's rear projecting onto this R115 with a frame that I welded up together. Hey, let's talk about everything. Let me turn off the slide projector. And let me turn this off too. So, okay, well, this is my wheel. I made a smaller one, it just didn't work because it was too short. I couldn't put enough objects on it, so I decided I wanted to do at least 3-foot diameter. Called one of my friends, said, hey, you have a CNC machine. Can you cut me 2 3-foot diameter circles? He said, no problem. A couple of weeks later, hey, my machine broke. I can't do it. So I'm like, I'll go old school. And there's 2 old school ways to do it. There's a table saw way of cutting circles, which scares the you-know-what out of me. So I'm like, no. And I'm like, okay, I got a board. I got a router. I'll attach the router to the board. Go 1.5 foot center of the router bit, center or the end of the router bit to a pivot point. And I just went around with the router, cut through both of them, did some speed hold. Okay, I'm going to interrupt this video to talk about process. When you're creating something, you have these great ideas of how it's going to all work out. And sometimes it does, and a lot of times it doesn't. So here are the circles. I cut them out. They look great. Then I attached the 2x4s to them for support. Added the other piece on top, as you can see here. Then I'm like, I want to motorize it. So I used an old sewing machine motor, which was underpowered. So I had a pivot. It's always important to be able to pivot. And I went with this, which is going to be Manimation, a handle, and somebody would have to turn it. And I talk about this, and I repeat myself a lot. That's okay. And so I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to work either. Then I remembered I had an old Subaru windshield wiper motor that a little piece broke and you couldn't get that piece, so I had to buy the whole one. And it's just been sitting around for the past 8 years, and I grabbed it and hooked it up, and it had enough power to do what I wanted. And yeah, so let's go on with the video. Both of them. Did some speed holes to lighten it. Did a shaft and added the gearing. This is actually an old Subaru, my old Subaru window wiper motor, because it's high torque, low speed. Attached it to a speed control setup motor with an on-off switch and knob, and then I have it in a regulated power AC to DC setup too, so I could really dial in exactly the speed I wanted. And like I said, I'll slow it down in post-production. Yeah, I mean, pretty simple, because I was going to do Manimation, but then I would have to get my wife or somebody else to help, and I'm like, I'm just going to motorize the whole thing. And on the top, I added some metal flashing, or it's hard for me to say. It's metal because what I did is, like, I took my plotter and cut out like trees, added a wire, glued it on the back, added a magnet to the bottom so I could put them on and adjust them any way I want. And yeah, here's the rear projection screen. And yeah, so I did the birds, some buildings, and like I said, this is an introduction to my film. and it's going to be voiceover, and I'm going to slow it down and all that stuff. So yeah, this is something that's been used on many different miniature projects. Or there's a music video I saw after I built this where they did like grass and a road and trees and buildings going around in the foreground, and the background they had somebody on a treadmill walking, and it's a great little illusion. Very, like I said, I like doing everything in camera, very little post-production, other than tones and colors and speed. And I got my camera shooting right into it. And yeah, that's my kitchen. Because, I don't really have a studio. This is our little gallery room where I do all my fun stuff. So, yeah, like I said, or maybe I didn't say, I don't know, because I've shot this like 4 times, is, my 30-some years of experience in film, theater, photography, art. I learned all these different techniques of how to make things. And I like making beautiful objects, even if nobody's going to see this wheel, but the function of it, it's important that it looks good for me too. And I learn all these skills, and I get to apply them and make art and make a living too sometimes. Even though I call myself the unemployed prop guy, I work enough to pay the bills and to be able to make art. So let me show you the actual video and how it looks in camera, and eventually I'll finish this film that I've been working on came up with the idea like 30 years ago, and the past 2 years I've been making all the props and scenery for it, and I just got to finish the story and get an actor and do miniatures and all that other fun stuff. Well, you guys have a great night. I'm getting a little loopy, and I'll see you on the next video. Ciao.